In a quiet farm town lived Laura. She was gentle and very pretty. Her parents were poor farmers. They loved her very much. When she was 20, they found a husband for her. His name was William. He lived in a big gray city. His family was rich and owned factories. The wedding was at a small stone church. Laura wore a long white dress. She wore a veil of white lace. She cried when she left the farm. "Be a good wife," her father said. She went to William's large mansion. It was cold and dark inside. William's mother, Mrs. Smith, stood at the door. She wore a stiff black dress. She looked at Laura's luggage. She looked at the small pearl necklace. "Is this all?" Mrs. Smith asked. "My father gave his savings," Laura said. "It is not enough," Mrs. Smith snapped. "You bring no fortune to this house." William stood by the fireplace. He drank tea and said nothing. Laura became a maid in her own house. She woke up before the fog cleared. She polished the silver spoons. She ironed the heavy suits. No one said thank you. William read his newspaper. Mrs. Smith scolded her every day. Laura was lonely and cold. One stormy night, the stock market fell. Mrs. Smith was angry about money. "Ask your father for cash," she demanded. "He has nothing left," Laura whispered. Mrs. Smith grabbed Laura's arm. She opened the heavy front door. "Then you are useless," she screamed. "Get out of my house." William watched from the stairs. He did not move to help. Laura fell onto the wet pavement. The door slammed shut. She was alone in the rain. She had no coat, only a thin shawl. She walked to the train station. She used her last coins to go home. She knocked on her parents' farmhouse door. Her father opened it slowly. "They threw me out," she cried. "Please, let me come in." Her father looked sad and tired. "We spent everything on the wedding," he said. "We have no food for you here. You are a wife now. Go back to him." He closed the door on his daughter. Laura could not believe it. She had no home with her husband. She had no home with her parents. She was a bride with nowhere to go. She walked away into the dark night. She walked back to the city streets. She sat on a bench in a park. She was hungry and shaking with cold. An old woman saw her. The woman was selling bouquets of roses. "Why do you cry, dear?" she asked. Her voice was cracked but kind. Laura told her story. The old woman nodded. "My name is Mia," she said. "I live in a small attic. You can come." Laura went with her. It was a tiny room with a slanted roof, but it was warm. "Stop crying," Mia said. "Tears do not buy bread." The next day, Laura sold her pearls. She bought fresh flowers with Mia. She learned to arrange lilies and tulips. She made beautiful bouquets. She stood on the busy street corner. She sold flowers to businessmen in suits. She saved every penny she earned. She did not buy new dresses. She worked rain or shine. Years passed quickly. Old Mia passed away in her sleep. Laura worked even harder. She rented a real shop on Main Street. She named it Laura's Garden. People loved her style. Grand hotels bought her centerpieces. She became a strong businesswoman. Laura bought a small apartment. It had a fireplace. It had soft rugs. She cooked her own warm stew. She was safe. She was independent. She was no longer the sad bride. She built her own life. One winter day, a man came to the shop. He looked thin and pale. His coat was torn and old. It was William. Laura looked at him calmly. "Laura?" he asked, surprised. "Yes," she said. "I heard you owned this place," he said. "What do you want?" she asked. "We lost the factory," William said. "My mother is very sick." "The mansion is sold." He looked at the warm, bright shop. "Please, let me come back. We can be married again." Laura laughed a short, cold laugh. "I have no husband," she said. "But I am William," he said. "You watched me fall in the rain," she replied. "You let your mother lock the door." "I was afraid of her," William said. "I was afraid too," said Laura. "But I learned to stand alone." She pointed to the glass door. "Please leave." William looked at her face. He saw no tears. He saw only strength. He walked away into the snow. Laura went back to her roses. She smelled the fresh lilies. She sat in her own chair, in her own shop. She realized the truth. A home is not given by a father. A home is not given by a husband. A home is the peace you build yourself. The bride with no home was gone. The woman with a strong heart remained.